Just 1 week left in the NFL 2013 season. Merry Christmas, fuckers, and Happy New Year. It's time to review. It's time to review Week 16. Let's get started. Buffalo Bills blanking the Dolphins 19-0. Dolphins offensive line went back to their old ways. And give Buffalo some credit. But the Dolphins are still alive for that final wild card spot. But they don't control their own destiny. In fact, none of the 4 teams still alive for a playoff spot control their own destiny. I don't know how that works, but Dolphins fall to 8-7. Buffalo improves to 6-9. I think their best record in quite some time. Anyway. Rams defeating the Buccaneers 23-13. Rams improving to 7-8. Buccaneers falling to 4-11. What? Well, I wish I had that one back, but in any event, good to be perfectly honest with you guys. Yeah, and the Rams beat the Buccaneers last year in a Week 16 matchup, and that was in Tampa. Whatever there, no one cares about this matchup. All right, Cowboys defeating the Redskins 24-23. This was another pick that I actually wish I had back, because I had a feeling the Cowboys were going to win this fucking game. But now Tony Romo has a herniated disc. Suffered during that Redskin game. It was amazing that he was still able to bring the team back, but then again, it's the fucking Redskins. Let's calm the fuck down. Anybody can pull off a clutch come from behind victory against the Washington Redskins. In fact, no one even worries about that type of shit because. But yeah, Tony Romo better not play. I think this will be for his health. Who knows? Who knows? But hey, whatever there. Cowboys improved 8-7. Redskins fall to 3-12. Shanahan's worst. That's the most losses that Shanahan has accumulated in one season. I expect Shanahan to get fired, but in any event. Colts defeating the Chiefs 23-7. Thank you, Indy. As a Bronco fan, but yeah, the Chiefs couldn't. Holy shit, they were up 7-0 at one point. But of course they give up 23 unanswered points. Yeah, they lose to the Colts, a team that really doesn't have much to play for. Give the Colts some credit for maintaining focus. I should have taken the Colts, to be perfectly honest with you. There are a lot of games that I wish I had back. Okay. By the way, I went 9-7 with 2 pick changes. And this was one of them. Jets defeating the Browns. By the way, Colts improved to 10-5. Chiefs fall to 11-4. And because the Chiefs lost, and the Broncos won, more on that in a second. But moving on. Jets improving to 7-8. Browns falling to 4-11. What else is new? Cleveland loses another game. Imagine that. No wonder I changed that pick. Anyway, moving on. Oh God, fuck you, Jacksonville. But in any event, Titans defeating the Jaguars 20-16. God fucking damn. But hey, the Titans players are fighting for their jobs. As is the head coach, Mike Munchak. I still think he's going to get fired. But hey, even though the Jaguars lost, I like what Gus Bradley's doing. I really do. Hopefully the Jaguars stay in Jacksonville and whatever there. But they're going to have to make some changes. The Jaguars are. Okay, Bengals spanking the Vikes 42-14. Ouch. And the Bengals, because they won, have clinched the AFC North. And something else had to happen. More on that in a second. But yeah, Matt. But yeah, Dalton had a good game. And of course, But of course, anyone can have a good game when they're facing the Minnesota Vikings, so let's slow the fuck down here. Alright, this was a good game. Panthers beat the Saints 17-13, but they lose Steve Smith for most likely Week 17 against the Falcons. But Cam Newton, for a couple quarters, has proven that he can play without Steve Smith. But let's be realistic here. That Panthers defense is really good. What a difference a defense makes. I do think Cam has grown up quite a lot, in my opinion. In any event, let's see what Cam Newton can do, because the Panthers are still fighting for an NFC South title. I mean, that has not clinched. They have not clinched that yet. But Panthers improved 11-4. Saints fall to 10-5, and now are in danger of missing the playoffs completely. They could go from, whatever. I'll explain the scenarios maybe in another video. All right, Broncos defeating the Texans 37-13. Peyton Manning threw 4 touchdowns to break Tom Brady's record for most touchdown passes in a single season. Congrats to Peyton Manning, but the news is not all that good, because Von Miller suffered a torn ACL and is done for the remainder of the season. And who knows if Von Miller will be back on opening day of 2014. Whatever there. And wow, I'm so impressed that the Broncos would kick the shit out of a Jack Tartt schlub team like the Houston Texans. Yeah, that was sarcasm. You'll have to excuse me if I'm not that impressed, because it's the fucking Texans. They're a miserable fucking football team. They have no fucking heart. They've proven that they have no fucking heart. It's just simple as that. Wow, this one a lot of people did not see coming. Whoever took the Cards, congrats to you. I should have taken the Cards myself. I'm kidding. Seahawks losing to the Cardinals 17-10. Notice I said losing to the Cardinals because congrats on the Cardinals for the victory first. Because the Seahawks, this is their first home loss in 14 games. Or 15 games, whatever. Yeah, 15 games. But holy shit, that interception by Russell Wilson obviously was not an interception. Because the ball just doesn't bounce off a receiver's forearm. If the ball bounced off a receiver's forearm, it wouldn't bounce the way it fucking did. Okay, it clearly hit the fucking turf. Just like the Green Bay Packers had a clear interception. But, it goes both fucking ways. That's the thing, though. The 14-game home win streak should not have been as long as it was in the first place. So yeah, Seahawks fans kind of deserve to see that fucking happening. But now the Hawks have lost 2 of their last 3 games. Ever since the game against the New Orleans, of course, when they played the Saints, they were never better, offensively or defensively. But since that game, offense has been sputtering. Their defense has still been doing very well. But their offense has not been playing as great as they were playing. Shit, how do you not capitalize on 4 turnovers? Carson Palmer threw 4 interceptions, and they still won them, and the Cardinals still managed to pull it off. Congrats to the Cardinals, but again, more to do with the Hawks losing it than the Cardinals winning it. No disrespect to the Cardinals, but come on, unacceptable. Especially if the Hawks are expecting to make the Super Bowl this season. Okay, Lions losing to the Giants 23-20. The Lions had a 20-13 lead until Matthew Stafford threw an interception, which ran all the way back for a touchdown. I'm not going to say that interception was entirely his fault, but he still threw the pick. And of course, it happened in overtime. When I heard that kick by the Giants kicker, I also heard something else. I heard the toilet flushing, and with it, the Lions seizing. Holy shit. They've lost, 5 of their last 6 games or something like that. To fall to 7-8, now they can't clinch a fucking thing. They can't clinch the playoffs. I'm surprised Jim Schwartz wasn't fired immediately. I mean, what are they waiting for? I mean, what's one game going to do? You know, your goal was to make the playoffs this season, and you didn't do that. And this team should not be 7-8. Way too much talent to be a 7-8 football team. I mean, come on. But congrats to the Giants for playing spoil. Alright, Chargers beating the Raiders 26-13 to keep their playoff hopes alive. Looks like the Raiders are still the Raiders, after all. As they dropped to 4-11, Chargers improved 8-7, still alive for the playoff spot, for that final wildcard spot. But it's not over. But they don't control their own destiny either. Imagine that. The Steelers beating the Packers 38-31. This was a pretty good game. I knew it was going to be a shootout, and holy shit, was it a shootout. Because we knew that Steeler defense could not stop the Packers from scoring, but then again, the Packers defense didn't do much better, obviously. In fact, they did worse because they lost. But of course, the Packers could have at least tied the game had Matt Flynn just spiked the ball after the false start penalty because it was because you heard the referee say it was a 10-second runoff, and the clock would start on the referee's signal. All they had to do was spike it, and of course people are going to say, "What? Why would you spike it? A wasted down? It's 4-down territory. Of course you fucking spike it. What difference is it going to make? One, if you lose a down. I mean, what? It was 4-down territory anyway. You're not kicking a fucking field goal. So yeah, you fucking spike it. Common fucking sense. And that may have cost the Packers a shot at the NFC North. I mean, they're still alive because of what happened with the Bears. More on that in a second. Patriots kicking the fucking shit out of the Ravens 41-7. Every time I think the Patriots are going to lose a couple straight games, they end up fucking winning and being the Patriots again. I mean, holy shit, yeah. But let me explain why I took the Ravens. Because I was just going with the trend. I was just going with the grain, the Monday night grain. You know, because teams that usually win on Monday night usually win the following week. So, of course I was going to take the Ravens. But it was still a stupid pick because of what happened with the Ravens. They needed a miracle touchdown on the last second of the game against the Vikings. The Vikings, mind you. And they needed a miracle 61-yard field goal against the Lions. So yeah, when they finally had to face a real football team, they got their asses kicked. And of course, the Patriots, I think, returned 2 interceptions for touchdowns or 2 turnovers for touchdowns or whatever to put the game out of reach. They didn't. I mean, and now, because of that, the Bengals have clinched the AFC North. And the Patriots are still very much alive for home field advantage throughout the playoffs. They're gonna get the number 1. They're gonna get at least the number 2 seed. I know that, because I don't see them losing to Buffalo. More on that in a second. All right, Eagles. But yeah, the Patriots improved 11-4. Ravens fall to 8-7 and are in very big trouble. Eagles defeating the Bears 54-11. LaShawn McCoy ran the ball up and down the fucking field. Man, holy shit. 24-3 at halftime, but then they blew it wide open in the second half. Oh, wow. Michael Vick was in the game. And of course he handed the ball off to Bryce Brown, I believe. Or Polk, one of those guys anyway. And ran it in for a touchdown. Holy shit. Over 300 yards rushing for the Eagles. Yeah, I am happy I made that pick change, because holy shit, I would have whiffed on that one just like I whiffed on the Patriots. Alright, and the Eagles improved to 9-6, still have the 1-game lead over Dallas. And the Bears fall to 8-7, but still have the half-game lead over the Green Bay Packers. Alright, the season finale of ESPN NFL Monday, and possibly the last game ever played at Candlestick. Niners defeating the Falcons 34-24. This was actually this was a pretty good fucking game. Falcons actually made a game out of it. Oh, can you imagine that? Matt Ryan is still a good fucking quarterback. Get the fuck out of here. Well, holy shit. But then there's a reason why the Falcons are where they are. They're 4-11. There's a reason for that. Because they keep making stupid mistakes. They keep making dumbass mistakes. And man, the Falcons, holy shit. Navarro Bowman on an onside kick after the Falcons scored to make it 27-24. They were still down by 3. But when the Falcons kicked an onside kick, Navarro Bowman let the ball just get right by him, but then a couple plays later throws an interception, redeems himself, throws an interception, intercepts Matt Ryan, and he was blitzing. Holy shit, he was fucking blitzing him. And he still picked off Matt Ryan, and of course ran it all the way back for a touchdown to seal the deal. And wow, so yeah, farewell to the candlestick. We could go over the history portion of it, but I don't have time for that shit. This bit's way too long as it is. But Niners improving to 11-4, and of course the Falcons 4-11. So here's the scenarios here's what's up for grabs in Week 17. Home field advantage in the AFC, a first-round bye in the AFC. All the divisions in the AFC have been clinched. The Broncos clinching the West, Patriots East, Bengals North, and Colts South, but that was like weeks ago. Or whatever. And in the NFC, it's still wide open. I don't think anything has been clinched yet. I don't think. Obviously, the NFC East hasn't been clinched yet. That'll be decided between the Cowboys and the Eagles. The NFC North, of course, that'll be decided by the Bears-Packers game. You know everybody's going to be watching that one. The NFC South is still up for grabs. If the Panthers beat the Falcons in Atlanta, they win the South. But if the Panthers lose and the Saints win, they win the South, and most likely a first-round bye. The NFC West is still up for grabs. If the Seahawks were to somehow lose to the St. Louis Rams, and the Niners beat the Cardinals, the Niners win. But of course, if the Niners lose to the Cardinals, the Hawks win regardless of whether or not they beat the Rams. That doesn't mean the Hawks don't want to beat the Rams. They don't want it back into the playoffs. I mean, holy shit. And that's exactly what they're doing right now, technically. They're stumbling into the playoffs, which is not a good sign. But then again, so did the Ravens last year, blah, blah, blah. The NFC, I already mentioned that. And of course, home field advantage is still on the line. That will be decided as well by either the Seahawks and the Niners games. The final wildcard spot for the NFC South is still up for grabs as well. I mean, it's just a matter of who's going to win it. The Cardinals are still alive, but they need a lot of help. The Saints are still, holy shit. But in any event, that will be it for that will wrap up Week 16. Till next time, later fuckers. One more thing I forgot to mention about Peyton Manning's 51st touchdown. of the season was what happened on the 50th touchdown pass of the season, where Eric Decker clearly dropped the ball. I don't know what Hockey Lee was looking at. Just wanted to point that out there. Whatever there. Alright. Hope you had a Merry Christmas, people. Till next time, later fuckers.